Oh, hey guys, good morning. I am on here early this morning. I just got the itch to talk with you guys, and I don't have the ability to make community posts yet because I don't have enough followers. So what probably would have just been a community post is now being a video. I hope everybody is having a great morning, and if you are enjoying your morning beverage, coffee, tea, whatever, pick your poison. Go ahead and let me know in the comments what you're having today. I am having, out of my Fur Mama mug today, some coffee and cinnamon creamer. Cinnamon creamer is literally the best thing ever. It is one of my favorite go-to creamers. Let me know your guys' favorite if you like flavored creams, because I am a sucker for some flavored cream. Don't mind this. I just noticed it looks funny. I tuck the strings in from this because my cat absolutely loves anything string, yarn, dangly. And when I put this shirt on, every single time, if I don't remember to hold the strings while I put it on and tuck them in, if he's nearby, all of a sudden I have him jumping all over the place, like grabbing at the strings as I'm putting on my shirt. And that is not something that I want. But anyway, on to crochet topics. I actually just saw on Facebook something really funny. I'm gonna crochet while I talk. It was like a Crochet Anonymous joke, and it was like, my name is blah 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 and I'm addicted to crochet, and then like the reason that they're addicted to crochet. And I commented on it saying that my name is Nova and I'm addicted to crochet. I woke up no less than 3 times last night wanting to crochet, but made myself go back to sleep until this final time at 5:30 a.m. where I let myself get up for no other reason than to go crochet. So I thought that was pretty funny, and also very fitting for that post. I saw it at just the right time, or I didn't even have to think about what mine would be. I was like, well, you're not wrong. Trying to keep this in frame. So I'm working on a hat. I'm not sure what kind of hat yet. Probably a bucket hat. I really like bucket hats. They're like my favorite type of hat. I like things that aren't like super fitted to my head. I like them to have like a little bit of a looseness, so I can just kind of like plunk it on. But I'm having fun with these Halloween colors. And so I'm actually carrying the Halloween colors through. Here's all my 7,000 strings or yarn. So I've got purple and black and orange, and then I'm using a 5mm hook, and this is, that's already pretty focused. This is a 3-weight yarn. I'm using this Sweet Minis It's Fall Y'all that I got in the Hobby Lobby clearance for $1.07. Kind of wish I would have got more of these now. I got 2 of them, but yeah, it's a 3-weight. Here's the deets. I just remembered that someone was asking last time on my video about me trying to figure out how to mirror this so that it's facing the right way so that you guys can read things. So I'm gonna see if I can do that after I post this, but it might be a setting I need to do before taking a video, and I totally forgot, so I'll look into it after I am done with this. But these are the colors, and they're like these little, they come like stacked in there. And aren't these so cute? They're like little tiny cakes. They're like little tiny flat cakes. I think they're so fun. Forgot what order I had them sitting in front of me. I'm like, oh well, my tails, I don't know if they're considered tails if they're still connected, are going to be tangled a little bit. But yeah, I just felt like playing with some Halloween colors. And if you're on my Instagram, you might have seen I started making little amigurumi last night, or no, well, yesterday evening, for the Yarn Fairy Friday video, which if you didn't hear about that yet, go watch my last video. It's just a quick 5-minute video where I talk about a new thing we're going to be doing until August, or not August, till October, called Yarn Fairy Fridays. So I won't go into explaining that for you guys again, because I already did. So if you want to learn about it and you didn't see it yet, I'll pop the link in the description so that you don't have to do any searching at all. But yeah, so I made something small for that already. It actually, I used this yarn, which is a 3-weight yarn. And I don't typically do, I've only done a little bit of amigurumi in a 3-weight yarn. I don't really like doing amigurumi in like little yarn because you have to use a smaller hook already. When you do amigurumi, you want to go down like a full hook size at the minimum. 1 minute. You have to go down a full hook size at the minimum, usually, because you want your stitches to be tight and you don't want any stuffing to poke through. So if you're using a 3-weight yarn or a 2, or you know, whatever, if you're using a sport or whatever, tiny yarns, you're gonna be using a really small hook, because I frequently, for like a 4, like a worsted weight 4 yarn, I'll be using like a 3.5 hook typically is my go-to for amigurumi. But it depends on the yarn and it depends on the project. You just need to go down small enough to get your stitches nice and tight. So I'm doing something, I found out that this, which came in like when I first started crocheting and I needed some hooks, I ordered this little like kit from Amazon. Trying to focus. My nails are so long that I was like hitting it with my nails and not my finger. This is a stitch row counter, or row counter. I ordered like this cute little kit and it came with this, and I didn't know what this was at the time. And then I've been wanting a row counter and I know they have those little digital ones, which I really want to get one of those. But I didn't know what that was. And then I was watching a video like a while ago, and somebody was like, in a row counter, and they like talked about, like, I think they were unboxing like a yarn subscription service or something, and they got like a row counter, and they're like, oh, a row counter. And I was like, oh, that's what that is. So I'm using that to keep track of my numbers, because right now I'm just doing single crochet increases. So currently I am up to 4, so I'm going to do 4 single crochets and then an increase, and I'm doing that all the way around. So to keep track, especially if I like put down what I'm doing, obviously with this kind of work, oh, I'm not doing single crochets, I'm doing half double crochets. With this type of thing, it's really easy to just go back and count your stitches, but it's easier to not have to go back and count your stitches. So what I did was, you may have noticed I had a 6 put in. And the reason that I had the 6 put in is because I'm planning on going up until I get to 6. And then I'm going to stop doing that. So to remind myself, so I can literally do this mindlessly and not think about it, because usually I watch YouTube videos while I crochet. So that I can do this without having to focus on it too much, then I can just put that in, and I know at the end of each row when I move it up, if I haven't hit the one next to it, which is 6, then I'm good to keep going and just doing that. And then I don't gotta think about it, and I don't like suddenly realize I went rogue and did like 700 rows of increases, and you know, it's like this big of a hat now. Because like I enjoy amigurumi because I like a challenge. I like to be able to, like, to need to focus on it, and it'd be like a really like interactive type of crocheting. But I also really enjoy kind of a mindless, repetitive, calming type of crochet also. And amigurumi can be that also. It depends on the pattern. Depends on what part of the pattern you're on. But I like that about just like some simple stitches. So I'm just doing half double crochets and changing color whenever I feel like it. So this is a super chill project, and I'm really enjoying these Halloween colors. But anyway, so something that the thing that I was talking about being a community post, well, it would have been for one, I would have posted that like, hi, I'm Nova and I'm addicted to crochet if I had a community post abilities. So if you're watching and you have watched this far into the video, pretend that this is a community post and I am asking you to make your own addicted to crocheting thing and put it in the comments. You don't have to, obviously, but if you feel like it, I think it's pretty funny. And it can be literally anything. I saw someone else's was like I read a bunch of them, or quite a few. Someone else's was like, hi, my name is whatever their name was, and this was like a big public post on Facebook, so I had like hundreds of thousands of comments. And I'm addicted to crochet. I spent my whole like evening making coasters to realize that I had like done the wrong like stitch, or it was like they had done the wrong row count and done their stitch wrong, and they had done like 3 coasters that way, so they made one right one before going to bed. So like literally it could be anything. I just think they're pretty funny. But the other thing that I was talking about that I would have made into a community post was that sorry, I got distracted because I was like debating on if I wanted to switch colors because I got to the end of my row. But I think I kind of like overlapping like the color change areas a bit. For one, so that they don't all just go in a row, like the color changes all end right here. But I kind of also like this sort of a spiral look it gets, because like I ended that one there by doing a little bit of an overlap. And then the next one, that one nail that I want to tap with is too long. I ended this purple one with a little bit of an overlap. You'll see from like there to there. And then like I think I'll go a little bit with the orange, and it kind of creates like a spiral effect and not like a solid line of color changes. Anyway, I was thinking about how several people on my last video for the Yarn Fairy Fridays were talking about they want to try to do amigurumi for this, or just in general, like they've been wanting to try, but they're struggling to find patterns that are like really simple and easy to understand, and like they try and they like end up frogging their work and everything like that. So I was thinking about that because I was like, oh, I'll try to find some simple amigurumi patterns to include in the description box on Friday's video when I do it. That way there's a little bank of resources, which I'm working on doing. I'm like keeping an eye out. I'm looking for ones that are super, super simple. And then I was like, because we're looking for super, super simple, but we're also looking for a specific size. And then I'm of the mind that when you're doing amigurumi, it's easier to use a worsted weight yarn. 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. I think it's easier to use a worsted weight yarn especially when you're new. And now this is probably a personal preference. You know, some people I know make really cute, tightly knit, like tightly stitched 3-weight yarn amigurumi, but I feel like that's more advanced amigurumi. And I think a 4-weight is like a happy medium, because it's like a nice chunky let me mute that. It's like a nice chunky weight, or chunky enough, but it's not too chunky where some people don't like to work with it. Like personally, I love to work with chunky yarns. Some of my first amigurumis I made with blanket yarn, but blanket yarn is like pretty divisive. Like some people like to work with it a lot and some people don't. It's harder to see your stitches. Which for me actually was really forgiving when making my first amigurumi, because you could make mistakes and it not be super, super visible. Like you really can't see mistakes as long as you're doing like the general concept right with, I think that's about good for my spiral. You can't really see mistakes with, as long as you're doing like the overall general concept right. And that worked really well for me because I found it to not be discouraging. If it wasn't perfect. So I think that working with chunkier yarns, at least like, you know, a nice 4. I think a nice 4 is like a happy medium where pretty much everyone's going to feel comfortable working with it. So because of the size of project that we're looking to do, which is a small amigurumi, like a palm-sized, keychain size, however you want to like think of it, because they're going to be given out as Halloween, like trick-or-treat gifts, candy. They're going to be, you know, in lieu of candy. You don't want them to be big. And so I'm looking for worsted weight patterns, but that are also going to be really small and also going to be really simple and well explained. Well, not that those don't exist, they do, but they're very specific. And I was like, I had a couple ideas of really, really simple patterns that I think would work really well as like an introductory pattern into amigurumi that would fit along with what we're doing, so that you could have your introductory pattern into amigurumi that's like doable and understandable and simple enough, but also the right size that we're looking for, so that you can still participate and you're not just off working on a random amigurumi trying to learn, but it's too big, you know. So what I was thinking about is that I thought of a couple things that I think would be good, which was a snake. A snake is obviously super simple. It could be a snake or a worm or whatever, and basically just kind of crocheting a tube, but like, you know, it gets a little bit bigger at the head, gets a little bit smaller towards the tail, but keeping it small, you know, like maybe this long at the maximum, you know, fingertip to the end of your palm, and like, you know, palm sized. And then I had another idea for like a caterpillar. And you know how like caterpillars a lot of times are worked in like a bulbous kind of a design, like a ball, a ball, a ball, a ball. I thought that that would be a pretty simple first amigurumi. And I think that I could do it a no-sew pattern. I could just make it so that you increase, decrease, increase, decrease, and do that. And if I kept it small, because this is the thing, all the caterpillar amigurumis that I've seen are quite big. They're not going to be palm sized unless maybe you found one that was like a sorry, you found one that was like a small pattern to begin with, and then you worked it in like a really small yarn, because obviously you can make a pattern be bigger or smaller by using a bigger or smaller yarn and a bigger and smaller hook. But keeping with it being at least a 4 weight yarn, and then also wanting it to be small, I don't know of any like caterpillar patterns of that size. So I was thinking I might do some just simple beginner amigurumi tutorials just for like some really simple stuff that might help you guys. That way I can have something to point you in the direction of that I know is going to be like explained well enough by my standards, and simple enough that you're not going to feel overwhelmed, and hopefully minimal sewing, because if you've dabbled into amigurumi at all and you're feeling overwhelmed by it, there's a good chance you're feeling overwhelmed by the sewing aspect of it. I know that the sewing aspect is like definitely the really like challenging part of it for a lot of people. Because there can be a lot of sewing. Like you can, you know, be making like, it's very, very common to make at least like 5 parts and then have to sew them together in the right locations. And that can be stressful, you know, like you can feel stressed out. Like if I connect these wrong, it's going to ruin all my hard work and it's not going to look right. So I was thinking minimal. That was like the other qualification, because I kind of had some, you know, standard qualifications in my mind of what would be good patterns to point you guys to. And that would be in at least a 4-weight yarn, fitting the parameter of the size that we're looking for, little to no sewing, and simple, well explained, and, you know, not going to overwhelm you. So I was like, you know, it's quite the little task coming up with patterns that are very like specifically meeting those parameters, because I don't want to point you guys to things that are going to be too hard and scare you off from amigurumi. Amigurumi is so fun. And I think once you dip your feet in it and you've done some like less challenging patterns, that it can be really like, it can be something you grow with, and you can like do harder patterns and then they don't feel as hard anymore, but you need somewhere to start. So also, just like a little advice of like how I started an amigurumi. I started with worry worms, which are those little worms that people have been making for like back to school buddies and stuff like that, that are, if you've ever seen amigurumis that have like the curly looking hair that are kind of worked in a spiral look, that's basically the same thing that you do for a worry worm. And that's what I started with, was those and simple shapes, like looking up how to make a star, looking up how to make a heart, things like that. And then what I would do is I would make 2, looking up like a general, and that's like an applique, looking up like a general shape, like a bear head, and then making 2 of them and sewing them together. And it would make, you know, like a little bit of like a 3D plush that's still kind of flat, like it's not rounded, you know. That's what I started with, and like those used to be really challenging to me. Worry worms were really challenging to me when I first started trying to get them to spiral properly. I made quite a few that did not spiral properly. I don't even know what I did with how I did that at this point, but back then, you know, those were challenging for me. Now those are like super, super simple. So if you're looking for somewhere to start and you want to start like right now, maybe look into some of those YouTube tutorials, because, you know, having it explained to you and shown to you is always super helpful. But I think those are good places to start. And you can even pop some safety eyes into those. So if you're like sewing 2 bear head appliques together, you can pop some safety eyes into one side and it's like a little plushy head. I don't have any over here, but I still have some of those from when I first started crocheting. I was like, I'm gonna make these into bears. I had like a whole lot of big ideas about what I was gonna do with those. And then the longer I was into doing amigurumi, I was like, oh, these are like, I don't need to use these. I can do like so much more now. But originally I had been thinking like I was making bear heads and I was gonna make little bodies to go with them and everything. So I just have like some random like heads. I had like a little pig head that I freehanded, because I found that doing like a magic circle makes like, you know, a cute little circle. So I made like a cute little nose for it. But I actually put it on a keychain and gifted that out as like a freebie with an order that someone made on my Etsy shop. I like to try to include little freebies. Here's what we're looking like so far with this hat, by the way. I like it. I like it. It's not, you know, super controlled. It's a little chaotic. I like the color changes. I think it's going to be cute. And it's so like vibrant. I love these vibrant colors. But anyway, so that's what I'm thinking about doing. I think that just some super basic, simple, beginner friendly, minimal sewing and a good friendly size yarn and a good friendly size hook. I think that that will be helpful. So let me know if you guys think that that will be fun and if you're interested in that. And I will get working on those and get them posted. I think that could be a really fun and helpful thing for everybody. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great day. And as Llama Mama Kayla says, it's a beautiful day to crochet. I'm not going to steal her tagline, but I feel that's how I feel right now. I'm like, it's a beautiful day to crochet. So I hope everybody has fun crocheting today, and I will see you guys later.